like that experience, it reawakened the spirit of the Camino in my soul. I had lost a lot of the sense of what it was like to be a pilgrim. Divided by borders, we're divided by governments. And when you're on the Camino, there are no borders, there are no governments. There was one tree that looked just like the image of Santiago, the Saint Santiago, as a pilgrim, with the hat and the cave. You can walk 500 miles from St. John to Santiago, and people don't think they're capable of that. They're not capable of doing that. If you're thinking about it, don't wait. Do it because anybody can walk the Camino. And there's lots of support.
Hello, pilgrims. Welcome to the Way to Your Why podcast. Today we explore storytelling as Camino of its own, a journey without a clear map where each step reveals the next. From the stage to building community through Teatro Vivo, our guest shares how creativity, uncertainty, and connection shape not only the artist but the path itself. This is a conversation about identity, service, and what it means to cross your own unfolding story. Hello, Rupert. So, welcome to the Way to Your Why. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Ifei, and thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Okay, and I hear that you are doing the Camino Francés right now. Where
We
you
are
are
actually,
exactly?
I'm in Zubiri. I'm actually outside a little cafe in Zubiri, and enjoying the wonderful cool weather. Last year we walked on the Camino and it was extremely hot. So this is really, really a welcome treat to be able to walk with nice cool weather, some sunshine. Walking with a friend, Leslie, who I met last year on the Camino, and we walked together for a couple of days. And now we actually started together in St. John. So we had a wonderful day today, walking from Roncesvalles to Zubiri.
Okay, and then you this time you're gonna be walking up to Santiago, right?
Yes, our plan is to reach Santiago. Again, like I said, this is our 10-year anniversary of having walked the Camino Francés. My wife and I,
Oh,
Joanne, we did it 10 years ago. So this is our 10-year anniversary.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. And then, so when are you expecting to arrive to Santiago?
We actually have a June 2nd date to arrive there because our daughter from the United States is going to meet us there with our two granddaughters. And then we're going to
Okay,
walk it from Saria to Santiago. So they're meeting us. So we should be in Santiago around June 9th.
okay, that's pretty cool. And then we recently met at the gathering in Texas, and American Pilgrims on the Camino, and you were acting there. So can you tell us a little bit how you start acting on that gathering?
Well, I wrote this play called One Day on the Camino because of an experience I had with Leslie, who my friend now, who become my friend, that's from York, England, and is walking with us now. She's going to walk with us all the way to Logroño. And last year we connected up on the Camino, just like people connect up, and we started walking together outside of Uterga. And she became very ill with the heat. And so for 4 hours we continue to walk together to make it to Lorca. And I felt like that experience, it reawakened the spirit of the Camino in my soul. I had lost a lot of the sense of what it was like to be a pilgrim, and so how that whole idea of how on the Camino we help strangers. We just open our hearts to strangers no matter what. You don't pass anybody that's sitting on the Camino without asking if they need help. Or if they have their shoes off and they have blisters, you offer band-aids and things. So when I got back home, I kept thinking about what this had meant to me, what I had done, how I had helped a stranger, and I thought, well, how can I continue to keep that feeling alive? That we all have to always be open to helping strangers. And so the only way that I could think about keeping alive is through what I do, and I'm a playwright, and I'm an actor, and I thought I have to capture this on paper. And so I wrote the play, but I got a hold of Leslie, and so together we sort of scripted this play. My asking questions about, do you remember what happened here? Do you remember what happened there? What it felt like when I put water on her head when she first indicated that she was sick, and what it felt like to keep that struggle going for what it should have been an hour and a half walk. It took us 4 hours. And so, again, as a playwright, that's what I really think that plays do. I mean, you think about like William Shakespeare, you think about the Greek playwrights, how those plays have continued to live now. And I think maybe this is my way of trying to keep the story of what happened with Leslie and myself and how strangers help each other on the Camino and how we need to bring that to our day-to-day life, how we need to help strangers in our day-to-day life. And I'm hoping my story of that unconditional love and that caring will be translated to other people as they watch the performance.
Okay, that you just mentioned about bringing this to your day-to-day life, and you being an actor, and you are involved with the Teatro Vivo that you are having in Austin, Texas, and then also you being an actor of one movie that probably a lot of people remember, that is you were part of Miss Congeniality. So all that experience that you have as an actor, and the experience that you have on the Camino, on those several Caminos that you have walked, what would you say is the connection between the two of those words?
Well, one of the things about like I said, writing is that you make writing for me makes things permanent. And the connection that I have with my plays is trying to give to the community their own stories, trying to create a little pride and a little bit of insight into the Latino community through my plays are written in Spanish and English simultaneously, so they're bilingual. So if you don't speak
Okay.
Spanish, you can understand the play, and if you don't speak English, you can understand the play. So giving that stories back to the audiences, and walking on the Camino and bringing back the experiences that you have on the Camino. My hope is to be able to share those through my writing, through my plays, and help the people understand more about what it is to be a human being on this planet. You know, we're divided by borders, we're divided by governments, and when you're on the Camino, there are no borders, there are no governments. There's only people helping other people, walking together. You communicate, even though you don't speak the same language. I was just noticing that today. Everybody that passed me acknowledged me or said hello. And again, there were Asian people, there were people from all over Europe that don't speak English, and we all have the phrase "Buen Camino" that we greet each other with.
Yeah.
So there's a universal nature to the Camino that I hope I can bring with my plays, which I try to do with my plays. Again, the bilingual nature is trying to make my writing open to all audiences.
Okay. And what would you say that when people are in the Camino, and like everybody from different languages and all that, everybody communicates so well when they are doing the Camino?
Yes. Well, it's a shared experience. I mean, you're walking. You're going to be thirsty. You're going to be hungry. You're going to get tired, and you're sharing that experience. And there is no need to communicate with words. It's your actions are speaking for you. And when you arrive in a town, somebody will be looking for directions. They'll have their phone out, or they'll have their book out. They're looking for directions, and you help them out. It's interesting. Yesterday, I told you, the very windy day, it was raining. There was a woman from Asia that pulled out her poncho, was trying to put out her poncho in a 30-mile-an-hour wind. And so I stopped and helped her put her poncho on. And even though we knew what she needed, just because of the shared journey, shared experience, she needed to put her poncho on. And so I helped her get her poncho on. And again, no language, no words, the trust that was there between us was automatic. It wasn't like, well, who are you trying to grab my poncho and helping me? There was none of that. It was no hesitation to accept my help as well. The desire to help her and the trust that she had from the help that I was giving was just amazing. It was amazing. Another older man that even just simple things. He dropped his walking stick, and while he was standing there adjusting his pack, and he looked down, and I walked up and picked up his walking stick for him, and he was so grateful for that because he didn't have to bend over and pick it up, which if you know what it's like on the Camino, you're stiff, it's hard to bend over. Just not having to do that, simple actions can be a big, big help. So I think I'm, I walked 21 kilometers. I took a nap. I was so sore when I got to my bed. And right now that I'm sitting here talking to you after having had a little bit of tortilla and una cerveza, I just feel so energized and so ready to go for tomorrow again. And it's the way it is on the Camino. You're exhausted at the end of the day. Take a shower, take a nap, and then it's like, oh my God, I'm rejuvenated. I'm ready to go again.
Yeah, so that's the nice part about the Camino, and we all that have walked that love it. So it's a
Yeah.
great experience.
Yep.
Yeah. So, do you have any memorable moment that you would like to share with us at the Camino?
Oh my God, yes. Again, whether or not it's something that's going to be, I don't know. I've started to realize that people may not believe me. I started to realize that maybe people don't think that what I'm telling them is true. But last time when I walked with Leslie, we struggled through the heat with trying keeping her from having the heat stroke, from passing out, possibly getting even close to death. And then we were standing in a tunnel on an underpass, and looking out across a field, there was a fence, and there were several trees on the line of the fence, and there was one tree that looked just like the image of Santiago, the Saint Santiago, as a pilgrim, with the hat and the cape, and even the branch that stuck out that had his walking stick was visible. It seemed to be visible. And to me, that was probably the most transforming image experience on the Camino that I've ever had, because to me it said what I had just done, those 4 hours of what I had just done was what the Camino should be for me, and what it meant to me, that I have to open myself up, and it has had that impact throughout my daily life. Now I think I'm more careful about judging people. I'm more interested in helping other people. This was a stranger that I spent 4 hours with, trying to keep alive, and then have me rewarded by that image in that tree. It's hard to describe. And again, like I said, I realized somebody at the gathering kind of, in a very subtle way, kind of suggested that you really didn't see that. That really didn't happen to you, because we all see things that we imagine on the Camino. And I thought, no, I didn't imagine that. It really, really was there.
Well, that's amazing. And then talking about acting, a moment of acting that you enjoy so much that you can compare with some part of the Camino. Is any?
Well, probably well, first of all, is the most, for me as an actor, the best role was the last one I did. Whatever the last role that I played is always the best, because I feel like each one is adding on to my experience as an actor and making me a better actor, making me a better artist. So I just finished a part. I did a role for a theater company in Austin, a theater, which I don't do much theater anymore, just because of my age, because of time, how much devotion or dedication, how much time you have to dedicate to a play. So I don't do a lot of theater. But I was asked by one of the best directors in Austin to be in his play, which I was surprised, first of all, to be asked, to be trusted with a role that I didn't even audition for. He just asked me to be in the play, and I haven't acted in a while. So there was something that he saw in me, that trust and that confidence that he had in me, that I didn't even see in myself. And I think in a way that's what the Camino is. And when you start walking the Camino, you're going to walk 500 miles from St. John to Santiago, and people don't think they're capable of that. They're not capable of doing that, and it is. It's like one step at a time, and that's the way it is in life. When you encounter struggles, when you encounter difficulties in life, it's really, if you take that one step toward the solution, you're headed toward the right direction. And for me, it was that way with this play. I had to really kind of just begin to believe in myself again, because I had like a 3-minute monologue in that play. Which I haven't done a lot of monologues in plays. Most of the time it's comedy or characters, quick exchange of lines. But there was, when I got the script, and I opened up the script and I began reading it, and it came to my character, and it was like the whole page of dialogue. I got a little track. And then I turned the page, and there was another page of all dialogue for me, and then another third page, and it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to memorize all of this pages of script and perform it. And it was just a wonderful experience when I performed that, because there were so many different little conversations that just flowed like a roller coaster for the audience, and they laughed, and they got very quiet, and they got very, very sad, because there's moments that I talk about losing my wife in the monologue. So to me, again, the relationship between that experience of trusting, having the trust in somebody else, and knowing that I can complete that journey, complete that play, and then same thing that when you get up in St. John the first day and you walk up that to Loris, and it's kind of like, oh my God, can I do this? And you just have to keep going. You got to just believe in yourself. And that's what I would say that the closest connection to the Camino and my acting in that play were that I just took one step at a time and got to the end. And it was a wonderful performance, not just myself, but the whole cast. We had sold out audiences for all 21 performances. The first night we were full, and then after that, every night there was waiting list every night for that show. So it was an amazing experience. Oh, let's come right by the church.
Oh, the bells. You are hearing the bells live.
Yeah. It's going to ring 8 times. It's 8 o'clock. Can you hear it?
Yeah. So it's 8 o'clock there. Here are 2 p.m. in North Carolina. Okay. So then that joy and all the things that happen in the Camino, that happiness that happened in the Camino, sometimes in our daily life, it's more difficult that happen in that amount of time that happened on the Camino, because when you are on the Camino, most of the time that you are in the Camino, you are all days happy. But when you are on your day-to-day life, that not always happen. What would you attribute that?
You know, I also teach like yoga. I teach mindfulness to people. Besides being a playwright and actor, I also am a yoga instructor. And we work with people to help reduce stress and help reduce anxiety. We use a lot of breathing techniques. We use a lot of relaxation techniques, and make them come into touch with what we call mindfulness, being present in the moment. And we describe mindfulness to them as being knowing what's happening right here, right now, with kindness. And in the Camino makes you actually be very present. Because if you're not present on the Camino, you're going to trip and fall. The trail changes so quickly. Rocks jutting out of the ground or slippery surfaces. You have to watch out. I just saw a man hit his head on a tree. He was walking, and he wasn't paying attention, and he bumped his head on a tree. So when people encounter problems in their own personal life, hoping that you can kind of convey to them that there's a solution, right? It's not going to be like that all the time. And that's the way it is in the Camino. Oh, one more. Are we going to get a repeat of that? The bells. I guess it wasn't enough. Yeah, they knew I was talking here. They said they're acknowledging our conversation. And it's right here, right above me. So you know, it's just like the Camino. When you're walking up those hills on the way to Orison or on the way to Roncesvalles, it's going to be over. There is going to be a end to that problem, which is the inclination. And so, if you can learn to recognize the stresses that we have in our problems, that they will come to an end, and we actually have a little bit of control over how fast or we stay in that moment. We can stay in the moment of stress, or we can stay in the moment of anxiety or worry. But we don't have to. We can take steps forward, move forward into a place that is not stressful, a place that doesn't have the anxiety or the fear. And the same thing, like I said, with the Camino. I mean, here I am sitting, relaxing, having had some nice warm tortilla that was delicious, and all the stress and all the strain of coming down that trail into Zubiri. I don't know if you've ever walked the Camino. Everybody talks about the Camino into Zubiri being such an incline. And so I would just say again, if we can apply that to our daily lives, be present, enjoy the moment. Like I said, right now I'm present. I'm sitting here, relaxing. No longer having to worry about whether or not my toes are slamming into the tip of my toes as I'm coming down the hill. And that's the way it is with stress, and that's the way it is with problems we have in life. We can just learn how to take the steps that we need to take and get past it.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, because then there is a lot of things where you can go, even where you live, close to where you live. And when we were, for example, in San Antonio, we were that Camino de San Antonio. And that was an amazing Camino. It's just 30 miles. But it was a great
Right.
experience.
It was. It really was. Yeah, and I never. And I'm live in Texas. I live in Austin, Texas, and I have never walked that Camino. I've been to the mission.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but
I have been to.
there are a lot of places, mountains all around the U.S. that you can also visit and relax and live the moment.
Right. Well,
Like you said.
like you're saying, yeah, walking is such a relaxing technique, and it gives you and you can just walk in your neighborhood, but just get up and if you're stressed out, just if just go walk, just take a walk around the block, and you'll be surprised how much being present in that moment is go out and look at the trees as you walk around, or notice the flowers in people's yards, or notice the houses that exist in your neighborhood. Sometimes we don't even take time to do that in our daily lives, to just look to our left and to our right in our own neighborhood. And that can be very relaxing, and the same kind of feeling you get in moments on the Camino, because you're not always tired. It's not always stressful. There's some really beautiful moments when you're walking on the Camino, or sitting by a stream, or looking out over the mountains. Because and yesterday we saw a rainbow. We actually were a rainbow below us. It was it was in the clouds below us that we were looking down at a rainbow. And if you think about
Wow.
that, what a beautiful experience that was. And so, just like I
Yeah.
said, those things can happen in your own neighborhood, in your own life, right?
Yeah, yeah, because actually the rainbow we can see it in anywhere.
Yes,
Yeah. And did you took pictures of those? Did you take pictures about
I got
those
it.
rainbows that you?
I did take a picture of the rainbow. It's not like a real bright rainbow, but you can see it if you look at the picture. Yeah, I did take pictures of that. It was beautiful.
Okay, well that's good. And then, so you mentioned that you're gonna be meeting with your daughter and granddaughters in Zaria, right?
Yes. Uh huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
they're planning to come be up there.
okay, how old are your granddaughters?
But they're 10 and 8.
10 and 8, and they're gonna be walking the Camino from Zaria to Santiago.
That's like it's like 110 kilometers, 60 miles. Yes, and we walked it with our two other granddaughters. I have 7 grandchildren, so we with two of the other granddaughters. There were 13 and 11. We walked with them 2 years ago from Sadia to Santiago. And the thing was that we overheard them talking the following January, as the summer was coming up, that they wanted to start trying to sell cookies and lemonades to earn money to go to the Camino again the next summer. So they enjoyed it so
Wow.
much they were planning to come back. They thought we were going again, and we had to tell them, disappoint them, and say, "No, sorry guys, we're not going back this year." So, but they had wanted to come
Oh.
again already.
No, that's good. And those that are 13 and 11 that already walked the Camino,
Hmm.
how was their experience after they
Oh,
finished? What did they share with you?
well, one of the things that is when you walk with children is that because there are not a lot of children on the Camino, there are children, but not a lot. So they always draw a lot of attention. So they loved the attention they were getting, and then people would just want to take their pictures with them. They always wanted to take their pictures. Oh, you take a picture with me? We take a picture, and they love the history. They love looking at the churches. One of the scary thing was they loved to go into the churches, and if the bell tower was open, they would love to run out to the top and look out over from the bell towers. And they seem to, like I said, they loved it. We haven't really wish we'd had more conversations about it with them because. Again, we know that they liked it, and we know they want to come back, but we really haven't examined the reasons why they want to come back. And maybe that's a conversation we need to have with them.
Well, that would be good. That would be good to know what do they think about it and why they wanted to come back because they are very
Hmm.
young, and
Yes,
in general, the Camino, the youngest one that I've seen, the majority at least, is when they are schools from Spain that they go walking, but they are probably 14, 15, and 16 or over.
correct. Yeah, we've seen those groups.
Yes, so there are a lot. Then, what advice would you tell to somebody that is considering to walk the Camino?
I would say that do it. I said if you're thinking about it, don't wait. Do it because anybody can walk the Camino, and there's lots of support. I said there's plenty of places to stay. There's everybody. If you speak English or don't speak the language, you don't have to worry about that. There's somebody that'll be there to help you. My advice to people that are even thinking about Camino is to Well, first of all, look and see if there's a local chapter in your community, because the chapters provide a lot of support, a lot of information about the Camino in a very, very relaxed manner. You can have conversations with people that have walked the Camino. The chapter coordinators are usually able to direct you to resources if you have any questions. One of the things about if you live in a town that has an REI, the camping store, they are very, very knowledgeable about the Camino and the equipment that you might need, and they'll fit you for a backpack. They have shoes. They'll fit you and make sure that you're comfortable and are the right fit for your feet. Because that's what the most important thing is. The shoes again. If I had to just give one piece of advice, is make sure you're wearing shoes that fit your feet and have been fitted for you. Don't just go pick up a shoe off the shelf and think you're going to go walk the Camino. It's take time to find a good hiking shoe that you really like, that fits real comfortable, because you're gonna. If your feet start hurting and you start getting blisters, that can make it the most difficult part of the Camino. So again, shoes, get fitted for a backpack, look for a local chapter, just do the research. And again, the Camino is very, very easy to handle. Finding places to stay, finding restaurants to eat, food, medical. If you get an medical emergency, that's the incredible part of being in Spain, is the medical services that are available to people. If for any reason you need something like that, I've never heard anybody that has gotten hurt, and some people have hurt. They've fallen and broken collarbones or twisted their ankles. And my wife, Joanne, her knee was swelling. The pharmacies were a great help. You can always get any kind of help. It's almost better than the U.S. in a way, because it's also more affordable. I've heard people that have had to be in the hospital for 2 or 3 days and get a hospital bill of $500. Because it's social medicine here.
Yeah, yeah, and the pharmacies they help a lot. So the pharmacies involve a lot on trying to serve you on what you need, where you're looking, and
Yes.
they provide a
Yeah.
great service.
They do. It's almost like an emergency clinic that the pharmacies here, without the
Yeah,
charge.
yeah, yeah.
All the advice is free.
Yeah. And I know that also because I have the opportunity to live in Barcelona for almost 2 years, and
Hmm.
they were like that. So okay,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
staying. Okay, and then so when are you coming back to the US?
We return back like the 18th. We're going to go visit back to after we finish the Camino. We're going to and finish walking with our granddaughters and our daughter. We're going to go see a friend in Barcelona, and sadly, it's going to be a very sad visit because her husband was a really good friend of ours, all the way back to when I did theater in California. He was a member of the same theater company, and he passed away about a month ago. He got
Oh,
cancer, and he died from cancer. And so we're going to go see Veronica in Barcelona, and to offer our condolences in person. They were always, every time we came and walked the Camino, we went to go see Ruben and Veronica. It was always a must. We were so close. We always saw him. And like I said, I knew Ruben since 1979. I've known him since 1979. And
oh wow.
a great, great friend, a wonderful human being. So kind and generous. In fact, the thing about it is that my son and his girlfriend, who is now his wife, came to Europe, and they stayed with him in Barcelona. My daughter and her friend, when she graduated from high school, that was her high school gift, was to come to Europe, and she stayed with him in Barcelona. And then just last summer, when the same daughter that's coming to walk the Camino, we went to Barcelona, and the two granddaughters, they actually met Ruben, so they got a chance to meet Ruben too. So he has seen most of my family, and has always been part of
Oh,
my family and part of our life. And it was one of the saddest thing to lose him so unexpectedly. It really was not something that he even had told us about, or I guess he didn't even know it. Right? It was something that hit so hard, so fast. He it just again, it's very, very sad to lose him that way. But we're going to go to Barcelona, and then we'll be back in Austin probably around June the 18th. I think we'll be back.
okay. Okay. Well, so thank you very much for your interview today, Robert, for your time. And then you put aside a little bit of your time on the Camino because on the Camino you always are relaxing, some happiness. So I'm glad that you were having your tortilla there with the cerveza. So that's pretty
Yes.
cool. And then, so I hope that the Camino goes well and then you have an excellent and buen Camino, like everybody
Bueno,
says.
Gracias to you, and thank you for having me. And I appreciate your efforts and what you're doing. Y buen camino to you.
Thank you, Pilgrim, for being here, and thank you for watching this episode. And please keep adding your comments for future episodes that you would like to see topics about. Thank you. Bye. Buen camino.